Hello everyone, and welcome to our last lecture series of the semester. I just wanted to say thank you for being part of my class, and I can't wait to see you guys in the fall. So in this lecture series, we're going to be talking about the digestive system. For the most part, we're going to be looking at the different organs that compose the digestive system and being able to learn about their functions. But before we get into each organ, I wanted to give a general introduction to the digestive system. So the digestive system is a really important system because it is a system that is going to bring nutrients and water into our body. And we're going to use those nutrients as a building block for our body. So we literally are what we eat, because we will take those building blocks, we'll take that food, break it down into its fundamental components, and then rearrange those components to form the structures of our own cells. This food is also going to provide energy, so glucose and other organic molecules are going to be broken down by our mitochondria, and from there we can harvest the energy and electrons, and we can use that along with the oxygen to create ATP for our body. And so we can power all of the activities of our cells and the activities of our body. So the digestive system is a really important system for our body. So let's look at some of the functions of the digestive system. So the first function is going to be mechanical processing and movement. Mechanical processing is going to be the physical breakdown of food. So this is going to be done by things such as chewing, segmentation, and churning. So it's going to be a physical action that is breaking food from larger substances into smaller substances. And so this is going to be really important because it increases the surface area of food and exposes that food to more digestive enzymes so that we can chemically break it down. Also, the digestive system is going to be responsible for the movement. We're going to have wave-like muscle contractions that are going to occur throughout the digestive system. And these wave-like contractions are going to move food along the digestive tract. And we'll learn more about these processes in just a few slides. Then we also have a process of digestion. Digestion is the chemical breakdown of food. So to be able to do this, we're going to use chemical enzymes, which are specialized proteins that will bind to these biological molecules and break them down into their fundamental components. So proteins are going to be broken down into amino acids, carbohydrates are going to be broken down into monosaccharides, and so on and so forth. So this is going to be a chemical process. So be sure you know the difference between mechanical processing and digestion. One is a physical process and the other one is a chemical process. So make a note of that. The third function is going to be secretion. So what secretion is the deposit of fluid, digestive enzymes, and buffers into the lumen of the digestive tract. So the digestive tract is going to be, for the most part, a hollow tube, and that hollow area within the digestive tract is called the lumen. If you close your mouth and move your tongue around, you'll feel the lumen of your oral cavity. And so different material will be secreted into the lumen, and those will have different functions, such as lubrication, digestion, and controlling the pH of the body. We are then going to have absorption. Absorption is the process of taking material from the lumen and bringing it through the digestive tract into the circulatory system or the lymphatic system. This is how we're going to gain nutrients and water from our digestive tract. And most of the absorption is going to occur in the small intestine. And lastly is elimination. There is going to be material that is undigestible and will not be absorbed by the body. And so this material will have to be eliminated through a process called defecation, where material is eliminated through the anus. So, yep. So those are going to be the functions of the digestive system. We can actually classify the organs of the digestive system into two major categories: organs that form the gastrointestinal tract or the GI tract, and organs that are accessory organs. So organs that form the gastrointestinal tract are going to be organs that form the hollow muscular tube of this tract. So this will include things such as the mouth, the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and so on and so forth. It's going to be a tube that the food and nutrients are going to travel through. And so that would be the organs of the gastrointestinal tract. The other type of organs are going to be accessory organs. These will not form the tube that forms the GI tract. Rather, they will be attached to the GI tract or the digestive tract. And so these are going to create secretions that will be deposited into the lumen of the gastrointestinal tract. And so these will secrete things such as water, mucus, buffers, enzymes, and other substances as well. These will include things such as salivary glands, the liver, gallbladder, but it will also include things such as the teeth and the tongue. On your exam, I would like you to be able to identify and label the structures of the digestive system and be able to know which organs are identified as accessory organs and which are part of the gastrointestinal tract. Before we move on to the individual organs, I would like to talk about the layers that form the digestive tract or the gastrointestinal tract. And these 4 layers will include the mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, and serosa. So let's talk about these layers. The innermost layer is called the mucosa. And this is going to be a mucous membrane, which is going to produce mucus. And the mucus is going to provide lubrication, so material can easily pass along the digestive tract. Also, the mucus plays an important role in protection of the digestive tract or the GI tract, especially in the stomach. The stomach is going to have a very acidic environment because of the presence of hydrochloric acid. And so this mucus is going to create a physical barrier between the hydrochloric acid and the stomach itself. Also, the mucosa is going to have immune cells embedded into it. For example, the Peyer's patches, which are found in the small intestine. And it can also produce digestive enzymes as well, especially within the small intestine. There's also the submucosa. The submucosa is going to be located here. This is going to be a collection, or this is going to be composed of connective tissue that is going to surround the mucosa. And this will contain things such as blood vessels and lymphatic vessels, which will be responsible for absorbing nutrients. It will also contain glands that secrete buffers and enzymes as well. The next layer is going to be the muscularis externa. The muscularis externa, as the name suggests, is going to be composed of smooth muscle. And this smooth muscle is going to be important for peristalsis and segmentation. We'll talk about those actions in just a moment. But essentially, it's responsible for propelling material through the digestive tract. Most of the organs of the digestive tract are going to have two layers. It'll have a circular layer that is going to have fascicles that kind of wrap around the intestine. And there's going to be the longitudinal layer, which will have fascicles that run along the intestine or along the digestive tract. Most muscles are going, most structures of the digestive tract are going to have two layers. However, the stomach is special. It actually has three layers. It's going to have a third layer called the oblique layer, and it's going to run diagonally against the longitudinal layer and the circular layer. And this is important because the stomach needs to be able to churn and mix the material within it. And so this is going to allow the stomach to have more mobility and more motions than the rest of the digestive tract. The outer layer of the digestive tract is going to be the serosa, or at least majority of the digestive tract is going to be surrounded by the serosa. The serosa is actually a component of the peritoneum. Just like the heart and lungs are going to be wrapped in a serous membrane, the organs of the digestive system are also going to be wrapped in a serous membrane. The serosa is actually going to be the visceral peritoneum, while there's the part of the peritoneum that is actually lining the abdomen will be the parietal peritoneum. There will be specific regions where there will be a double layer of peritoneum, and so just so you know, that exists as well. So what does the peritoneum do? One, it holds the organs in place. Organs aren't just going to be kind of flopping around, or the intestines aren't going to just be flopping around within the abdomen. They're going to be held in a particular position and organized against each other. Also, the serosa is going to create a lubricant that will allow the intestines to kind of move against each other without having very much friction. And so it'll allow for there to be space and movement of the intestines as material is traveling through the intestines itself. But it is important to know that some of the organs of the intestine or the digestive tract are not wrapped in serosa. They are actually going to be wrapped by a connective tissue called adventitia. So this really depends on whether or not the organ is located within the peritoneum or not. If the organ is within the peritoneum, it's going to be wrapped with the serous membrane. So things such as the stomach, the liver, most of the small intestine, and the large intestine are going to be wrapped in this the serosa. There will be organs that lie outside the peritoneum, so things such as the mouth, the pharynx, esophagus, and the rectum are going to be found outside of the peritoneum, and those are going to be connected to the surrounding organs using the adventitia. There are a few organs that lie retroperitoneal, meaning that they lie so posterior in the body that they lie outside of the peritoneum. This would be things such as the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine. The front of those organs, or the interior part of those organs, are going to be wrapped in serosa, but the posterior part is going to be wrapped in adventitia, so it'll have a bit of both involved. So just so you know, some organs are going to be wrapped in serosa, some are going to be wrapped in adventitia, and organs that lie retroperitoneal are going to have both, one on either side. So those are the layers. This might be an essay option, so be sure to kind of practice and understand what these 4 layers do for the intestine or for the digestive tract. Now let's go into peristalsis and segmentation. Peristalsis is going to be rhythmic contractions that are going to occur within the GI tract, and this is actually going to propel material forward. So it's going to propel the material forward. I like to think of it as, like, say you're trying to squeeze toothpaste out of a tube. You may start at the bottom and you may squeeze higher and higher up, closer to the opening. And so this will propel the toothpaste out of the tube. Similar type of action is going to occur in peristalsis. So we can see here on this diagram, we have the bolus of food. A bolus is kind of the mashed up food that occurs like when you chew the food and it's moistened by the saliva. So that material that we swallow is the bolus. We'll see that there'll be a muscle contraction occurring here. And as that muscle contracts, it will kind of push the food a little bit forward. And so we'll see that there'll be small wave-like contractions that will continue to push it forward so that it will move to the other organs of the digestive tract. There's another process called segmentation. This is also going to rely on muscle contractions, but rather than propelling food forward, it's going to break down the bolus into smaller pieces. And so this would be an example of mechanical processing, where we're physically breaking the food down into smaller pieces. This is important because it's going to increase the surface area of the bolus, allowing it to be more exposed to mucus, water, and digestive enzymes. So it'll help with the breakdown of the food. Sorry. So that completes our introduction of the digestive system. Next, we're going to go into the organs of the digestive system, where we'll look at the function of each organ, what accessory structures are associated with that organ, and the functions of those accessory structures. All right, I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye, and be good to yourself, okay?